All right, let's move into something else that just came out that I think me and you are both really big fans of.
Ahsoka.
Oh
my God, it's ridiculously good. It's crazy.
So episode 1 and 2 came out by the time we're recording this. By the time this comes out, episode 3 will be out. So next episode, we will talk about what we feel about episode 3. So hold your fucking horses.
We'll keep up on it.
It's coming. Relax. You got to understand the cycle of the episodes. Record on a Sunday, release on a Friday.
Yeah. We're going to have a hard time talking about it.
The inverse of how Jesus came back. You know, he died on a Friday, came back on a Sunday.
That's our motto over here. We're just all about doing the reverse Jesus.
Yeah, reverse Jesus. We're taking our time. We're recording on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Releasing on a Friday.
Yeah. We see the old ways tell you work from Monday to Saturday and then you rest on Sunday. We like to work on Sunday and then rest Monday through Saturday.
Exactly. That's what we do. Yeah, guys. Ahsoka episode 1 and 2 finally came out. Yeah. Definitely one of the most anticipated Star Wars titles to come out in a while.
Probably, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Star Wars has been on a roll with their shows, I would say. All of them have drawn in fucking ridiculous viewership. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like what the fans want, this is probably the most anticipated, I would say.
Oh yeah. And let me tell you guys, episode 1 and 2 were pretty fucking awesome. And I think this is a great sort of duo that we have here because you've watched all of Rebels, I'm assuming.
I have, yeah.
I have not watched all of Rebels. So there's something that I always say on the podcast where I can't stand the shows that have like this million years of like backstory that you have to watch through other shows to catch up. And I thought that was going to be my problem with this show because it is, you're picking up with like I don't want to say the remnants of the Ghost crew, but
more or less.
Yeah, more or less, the last, not the last remaining members, but the members that are closest together is who you're picking up with. Ahsoka, Sabine, and Hera, and the homie Chopper as well. Can't forget Chopper.
Yeah, Chopper.
Yeah, I have not seen, I've not sat down and watched Rebels. I have, watched videos on what happens in Rebels, so I am very familiar with the storyline. I understand what's going on coming into it, where the characters are at, where Ezra's at, where Thrawn's at, all that shit. But I don't have the luxury of experiencing all the things that a Rebels lover would experience while watching the show. Little callbacks here and there, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I'm here to say that this show's pretty fucking awesome, man. And I don't think you need to watch all of Rebels. I think it's like an extra credit situation where if you watch it, you get more out of it.
Yeah.
But I think this works well on its own as a show. Like, aside from all the history that precedes the show, I think you can come into it and watch it and get a general understanding of like, okay, these characters have some history. Mm-hmm. There is some backstory that maybe we're not privy to yet, but I think we will get as we move along.
I would say, depending on how the show unfolds, maybe. As of right now, I would disagree. Because I think understanding what the deal is with purely just Thrawn and Ezra and how they've affected the characters in play is pretty big. Because again, like you said, even though you didn't watch the shows, you know what happened. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't know any of that, I would say it's going to be a hard hook. Even if the show unfolds later, the first 2 episodes don't do a lot of holding your hand and like who these people are. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing I would say. But you're right. If the show unfolds and we get flashback sequences and this or that happens or whatever, then like I could see it being a standalone show that works. Mm-hmm. But right now, at least watch a video about what happened in Rebels. You don't have to go watch the entire show. I agree. I think that's perfectly fine. But watch a synopsis at the very least of like how Rebels ended. And I think the show will be a lot better.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I think just for me, like when I was watching it, I was like, okay, like I understand. Like if you just strip away like not knowing anything about Rebels and you just watch like, okay, Ahsoka and Sabine have a relationship. I understand that. There obviously is some shit that went down, and maybe you don't know it yet, but that's okay. I don't think each show has to like show all of its cards in the beginning. There doesn't need to be this big old sit down like, okay, Sabine, I know what happened last time, and blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, that'd be like, okay, that's overkill.
Well, what's good, too, is that stuff is also, that sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the turmoil between Sabine and Ahsoka is not from Rebels.
Yeah.
So they are doing a good job of setting up a dynamic within these relationships post Rebels, which is a good jumping on point because you can come into it and fans of Rebels still don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I don't know why Sabine's pissed off at Ahsoka. I mean, I do, but like, we don't know the details, right? Yeah. So
yeah, you don't know the cheese.
Nah, I'm waiting for the juice, bro.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Waiting for the fucking juice.
Waiting for the juice.
But
the juicy details.
yeah, I thought everything about this was really fucking awesome. I thought the opening sequence immediately got me hooked. Like when you see like the running fucking, I don't know what you call that.
The crawl. It's the old school crawl.
The crawl, but
it's
you
not
have
exactly
it
the same.
Yeah, I like the switch up.
Me too.
I think if you would have done the traditional Star Wars crawl, like while it would have been cool, I think that is like
it doesn't work for the show.
It doesn't work for the show.
No. It would have felt weird. You save that for the movies.
So here's the thing about why I think this works as a standalone show, and I think it is because of that crawl. I think if you
in the beginning,
if you watch and you read the crawl, then you get a gist of what had happened and what the stakes of what's going down in this show.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it paints it out very well. The fucking music underneath that was crazy. I was sitting there watching like
I forgot his name and I'm gonna look him up because I always tried to give.
He did the score for Rebels as well, right? Like he did music in Rebels as well.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there was like just one guy who did Rebels, like or just any of those shows in general. I could be totally wrong, but yeah, I loved the music all around. I thought, excuse me, I thought it was the guy who did.
Let me pull up my notes for this because I did write some stuff down initially for first thoughts of what I thought about this.
I did initially think it was the same guy who does The Mandalorian. His name is Ludwig Göransson. It's not. This guy's name is Kevin Kinner, or maybe Kevin Kiner. I don't know how you say that. But yeah, he did the Clone Wars movie.
Freaking Kevin.
Which is where she first appeared. He did Bad Batch, Doom Patrol, Titans, Tales of the Jedi, all kinds of shit. So he's been involved with Star Wars for...
Dude's been on a run.
Yeah, the last few animated projects. He did the Clone Wars final season that came out back in like 2020. So he's been around. But yeah, he's insane. There were multiple times where I paused. Not the movie, but personally I paused and was like, what the fuck is happening to my ears right now?
Yeah.
This shit is gorgeous.
Yeah, so like the opening crawl mixed with the music gave this almost like horror type of sense to it where you're like, okay, some shit's fucking going down. This is not like normal Star Wars. I mean it is, but it's like there are from the jump there's immediate stakes where you're like
it feels like
where you feel it from the music.
Definitely. No, I what I loved so much about the intro sequence to this was like more than anything else. You know that I like Andor quite a bit. But you also know that I don't consider that like the best Star Wars thing because of how different it is from Star Wars.
To each their own.
And I would imagine that like a lot of people would see Andor as like an evolution of Star Wars. I see Andor as Game of Thrones meets Star Wars, or an HBO show meets Star Wars, primetime television meets Star Wars. Ahsoka, to me, is the evolution of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because straight up, it is the most sickest fucking sequence on its own, and it also happens to be an homage to the intro to the original Star Wars in every single way, shape, and form. The fucking crawl happens. Great, beautiful. You also start with the peak of a ship coming into frame, the exact same first fucking shot you saw in the original Star Wars, and you get the evil Sith dude storming the rebel ship, fucking tearing through everybody, except it's like slightly different or whatever.
Yeah. And I wrote this down. Like the whole episode felt like the show feels different, but it also feels familiar at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like they're trying to harp too much on like past things in Star Wars, like, hey, remember this, remember this. It's more so they're like they take shots. Like I think what I loved the most is there were so many moments from the first episode of Ahsoka that felt like episode 1, like Phantom Menace.
Definitely.
And that's what like that was the first Star Wars movie I watched. So when I see like was it Balin Skull and fucking Shin Hot Tea coming in? Like I'm immediately
Qui-Gon
thinking
vibes.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan vibes. Like when they immediately come to do the negotiations and shit like that. So that was fucking awesome. Like, and like you said, there are so many like homages to prior Star Wars movies, like everywhere. I thought it was fucking awesome. Ahsoka was fucking badass. Her fights were fucking sick. Like there was a lot of samurai movie references that I was really picking up on.
Yeah,
And I
the
was like,
standoffs were really cool.
this is fucking awesome.
She obviously has like a very samurai aesthetic.
Mhm.
Like she's like, I think her attire, especially like on her arms, reminds me of like, and I think it's on her hilts too, but it has like the katana like weave kind of, with like the little diamonds in it and shit, and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
She has some crazy sick moves that I don't think we've ever. They're like, once again, they're like evolutions of moves, right? Because like we've seen people use their lightsabers to cut through the floor, but we ain't never seen them fucking chuck them both down and then use the force to like fucking dude. Like that's just too cool, man.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
was
so
fucking
so
awesome.
throwaway too. Like they don't like make it such a big like in your face.
Oh my god, look at this.
Yeah, she's not like and like that's all. Like she just does it casually, and
like,
it's awesome.
It is this moment that they're like, oh, look at this, but they're not like doing it too much. Like
No,
the frame is like it's very zoomed out.
Yeah.
You get to see everything around.
It's
like
subtle
that's
badassery.
the main thing about that shot is to see sort of like everything in the temple that she's at, and then the icing on the cake is seeing her fucking do that shit.
I really liked her little puzzle solving bit in there too.
Yeah, it reminds you of some fucking Jedi Survivor,
Definitely.
Jedi Fallen Order type
100%
shit.
gave me those
You're like,
vibes.
damn, I don't have to play through these fucking puzzles right now.
She
It's fucking great.
Did you notice too? She also and I can't remember. I have like this faint memory in my head that this was referenced in one of the Mandalorian seasons when she showed up. But she seems to have the same power that Cal does, which is pretty unique among Jedi. If I'm not
like
mistaken.
to sense the Force echoes and
the
stuff
memories
like
and
that?
shit. Yeah. That echoes. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. She does the same shit. The whole fucking series, both of these episodes, she's just like walking up to shit like a fucking detective and is like, yeah, all right, I know what happened here.
What happened here?
It's cool.
Like, just give me a second.
Hold on.
Give me a second. But yeah, that first episode was fucking sick. The scale feels really big for a show.
Definitely.
Which I think is something that's been my main gripe with like the Disney Plus shows is sometimes the scale feels very small for something that we're used to seeing very big.
Yeah,
we're used to seeing very grand. Like when it comes to like Marvel or Star Wars, sometimes
it's hard to adapt blockbuster to small screen.
Yeah, and I think they've done it really, really well here.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of moments with with the Ahsoka ship. That's a super big fucking ship, and it looks nice with the CG.
Kind of cool design too.
Lothal, like in live action, looks fucking awesome.
Fucking Lothcat, bro, or Lothcat, however you say it.
Lothcat, yeah.
Oh man, I was so hyped to see that shit.
Fucking Sabine riding on her fucking little motorcycle thing, whatever it is, the speeder, sick.
That was the most fucking punk rock thing I ever seen in Star Wars. Bro.
I loved it because I was like, have we ever gotten like different like music that wasn't like Star Wars?
We have, but only in the games.
Yeah.
Cal Kestis listens to music that very much reminds me of what Sabine's listening to, and I like that vibe of like, grungy cantina, but they're playing punk instead of like jazz. Like I fucking love it.
That was fucking awesome because it's nice. It's like a nice like character aesthetic that we're getting through music, and that we're not seeing through like
dialogue.
Visual through dialogue, and stuff like that. But
it's just epic too. It's such a cool sequence.
Hell yeah, I thought Sabine was awesome. The ending to episode 1 was fucking crazy,
very intense.
I do like the more like stoic sort of adult Ahsoka that Rosario Dawson is going for. I know a lot of people aren't the most on board with it because they're used to the Ahsoka from like Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah. But I think we also have to understand like there is probably a good portion of her life that we're just oblivious to that we have not seen, so we don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, yeah, definitely not.
She could have fucking changed and been more become more stoic as the years have gone on. So I think it's a good like progression for her character.
I think it's a natural evolution. Yeah. Like in Clone Wars, she is very much like the Snips persona. Like super fucking, she's like a little mini fucking Anakin.
Yeah.
And then in Rebels, she does still have hints of that, but she hasn't gone full Luke Skywalker, Yoda, Jedi Master type.
Yeah.
So if there's like a middle ground there, I feel like it's like I said, it feels like a natural evolution of like 1, 2, and then 3 is where she's at now. Of like, yeah, dude, I've been around the block a couple times. I've been here for 2 fucking trilogies, motherfucker.
Where have I been? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What I've been around.
I've been around. I've been doing some stuff. Yeah.
What I've been doing? I don't know.
Yeah, still problematic not entirely problematic. It's just like the nerd in me that has been jaded and spoiled by the Marvel universe, at least like the Infinity Saga being so like tightly interwoven is like there's an inner voice in me that's like, why didn't you help Luke Skywalker fight Anakin? What the fuck? Or like, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Right? Like, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, that's the nerd in me that doesn't need to be satisfied.
Hell yeah. And I love all like the mystical, magical aspects that we're getting with what's fucking homegirl's name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember her name either. Let me see. You're talking about the Night Sister, right?
Yeah, it starts with the M.
First time we got a Night Sister in live action, if I'm not mistaken.
Martha
Morgan.
Wayne.
Morgan. Fuck, come on, don't do that.
Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah, Morgan Elsbeth. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, her character was great. Obviously, we saw her in The Mandalorian. What was it, season 2?
Season 2, yeah. Because that was when Ahsoka showed up.
Yeah, with the Jedi episode. Yeah, getting the reveal that she's a fucking Night Sister.
Which is really cool. Super awesome.
Crazy.
I feel like that's another thing that has been... I mean, you can make the argument that this show is... And any Disney Plus show is side content compared to like the movies. I don't think that's the case anymore. But you could still make the argument if you want to. I understand where you're coming from. But I consider this stuff main content now. And it's nice to see these things that were pushed to like the edges of Star Wars media, like the animated shows and the games and stuff like that, come to the forefront. Like seeing Night Sister magic in real life, fucking cool. When I saw Green, bro, when she's fucking with that orb, I was like, no fucking way, bro. What the fuck? Sick. Yeah, shit's awesome, dude. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also very interested in the Balin Skull and the Shin Hati character because we see Shin with a little Padawan fucking with braid in her hair, and you're like, Jedi aren't around no more. You guys don't got green and blue lightsabers. So what the fuck is going on here? So I'm excited to see them explore that.
Me too.
You know?
Yeah, I like my early guesses on that is that Balin's skull is a dark Jedi, not a Sith or a gray Jedi or anything like that. Or like I don't think that he has fully abandoned the ways of the Jedi, especially because he has a Padawan with him. Not in terms of like morality, but in terms of like systematic functionality. I think he still operates like a Jedi. He's just like a bad guy now.
He's like, hey, the way they, had an apprentice and everything.
He's like, that works.
Makes sense. I'm down. I'm down. Yeah. But, everything else I'm not down for.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, because it does feel like at times there's certain things that I like I don't think he's going to have like a full redemption arc or anything like that. But I do feel like a slight pull in him where like I like that he's a little bit neutral. Yeah. He's not like cuz what's her name? Morgan seems very like fanatical almost about like bringing Thrawn back. Like it's almost like a religious thing. Like
yeah, she loves Thrawn.
She really does. Like that's her fucking dude. Like she wants him back big time, right? So I like
Thrawn's like the dude that's in jail, and Morgan is like the chick that's like outside of jail holding it down.
Waiting for 100%. Yeah.
I'll wait for you.
I'll wait for you.
Like
holding down the Empire.
Like in fucking Superbad when he's like, no, go away from me.
Wait for me. Yeah. Oh man, that's so good. Yeah. You guys do me a favor. But yeah, I like his vibe a lot, and I want to see what happens with him. I was saddened to see the dedication at the end.
Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. Yeah, I had heard the news obviously, but I was so pulled into his performance in the first one that like my perception, of the whole first episode in general, my perception of real life things drifted to the peripheral. So seeing that was definitely like a double-edged sort of a pullback, like I'm like,
it's so crazy. Like when you watch stuff like that, especially him like being so good in that role.
It's such it's a shame anyway, right? You don't want to lose people who are talented like that and can bring.
You don't want to lose anyone.
No, you don't want to lose anyone. Human life is important. But the fact that it happens so close to a project where his talents were on display at like a very high level.
And he was probably going to get so much love from, like, he's already getting so much love from the Star Wars community.
Yeah. Just when he was in the trailer showing up, before he even passed, I think. Like, when they first started teasing stuff, people were already down. So, yeah.
Yeah, his character is fucking great, man. Fucking great.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see how the Sabine and Ahsoka relationship turns out. I like that there's like this weird like switch up almost, right? In that like you have a master and a Padawan on both sides of the Force right now. And surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, but in a twist compared to what we've seen usually, it's the Jedi Master and Padawan who are in turmoil. And the Sith Master and Padawan, or not Sith, but Dark Master and Padawan who are like fucking efficient machine. Like they're just fucking carving through shit, even like our main characters and stuff like that. Which is cool. I like it. They're not I like seeing stuff where our heroes are on the back foot. I don't always love when they're
Have the upper hand.
yeah, like I mean that can be good. Don't get me wrong. If you're that's not like I think anything can be done well if you're creative enough with it. But so typically I like seeing our heroes come from the back foot. And it's good. It's a good start. I like it a lot.
You like seeing our heroes from the back?
I like seeing our heroes from the back, my man. I really do. Especially that Luke Skywalker guy.
Hell yeah. But yeah, the ending to episode 1 was fucking nuts. I love the fight that we have between Shin and Sabine. Obviously, I think foreshadowing for a future fight that we're gonna fucking see.
Definitely, yeah.
I think there are scenes from the trailer that look like they're from a later episode.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. And homegirl gets stabbed in the fucking stomach, and then she just leaves.
Yeah.
And Qui-Gon's like, "Damn, bro, I could have fucking lived."
Okay, I will say this. I understand the frustration because Qui-Gon is a beloved character and you don't want him to die, but he has to die in order for the rest of the trilogy and all of the other movies to even happen. Because if he doesn't, Anakin would have had a good father and he never would have turned to Darth Vader. That's neither here nor there.
And I think lore-wise, there is, because I was thinking about that too. There is like an explanation to that, because during his fight with Darth Maul, he was using the Force to enhance his abilities.
Yeah, because he's older already.
Yeah, so homie was fucking tired. He was
100%.
He was burnt out by that time.
And beyond that too, it much in the same way that in real life, it really does depend on where you get shot, stabbed, punctured, whatever it is. I think that has a lot to do with it as well. Qui-Gon took one straight through the fucking chest, like probably right into the heart and stomach and shit.
It was in like the stomach, no?
I guess, yeah. He gets him in the middle area is my point. And they do very clearly show. Beans is kind of over here.
Side.
It maybe hits her liver or something. I don't know, but I don't know where your organs are. But it is, I did notice, because Dave Filoni fucking knows everything. I think they went out of their way to be like, not right in the middle. It's over there a little bit.
Actually, Dave Filoni did it know that Padme had already met Anakin's mom.
Yeah, that's right. That's like Sam Witwer story. Yeah, no, but I buy it. It's fine with me.
Oh yeah,
I don't care. I think it makes sense to lightsabers can't be that fucking powerful. Like otherwise, it doesn't matter if you're a Jedi or not. You just get a lightsaber and you fucking win. Pew. That's it. Yeah. So like I'm fine with them getting not buffs, nerfs. I'm okay with nerfing lightsabers. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah. I think it was interesting to put that at the end of the first episode, because obviously I think Sabine is one of our main characters, so I don't think she is going to die at the end of the first episode.
Definitely not.
But I thought it was really good. It was like super shocking to where even I was like,
yeah.
Like I didn't think that was going to fucking happen.
No, yeah. Well, I think what's effective about it is that like I don't think the intention was to make you like fear for Sabine's life, but more of like a humbling of like, oh fuck, man, the bad guys are like way more prepared for this shit.
These bad guys are bad.
They're ready. They already have the fucking orb. She gets it from her during that fight. Easily able to fucking take her out like nobody's business. Like they keep getting Ahsoka is on the front foot in the very, very beginning when she's on her own. But and I like it because what's interesting is as soon as she starts to team up with other people is when unfortunate incidents start happening on her side of things. And I'm sure that's going to come around because she has like a lone wolf complex right now for sure that I'm sure they're going to work through over the course of the season. But it's good shit.
Yeah. I thought the second episode was a little slower for sure. I think it is a little bit more like building out this world of Ahsoka that we're going to, learning about the different galaxy, blah, blah, and all that. But it was still a good episode. Like, I think there is a lot of, like learning that Thrawn and Ezra are in not the unknown regions, but in a completely different universe. Galaxy. It was like, it's mind-blowing, because I texted you, like, this is like Asteroid City type, like everything that we've known to totally be true is getting flipped on its head.
From the very beginning, the first thing we ever saw is a long time ago in a
A
galaxy
single one.
far, far away. This all happened. It's all charted out. You can go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book that'll show you all of the little charted corners of the Star Wars universe, and they all happen in one. So yeah, it is groundbreaking the fact that we're going to another galaxy in mainline continuity now, especially in live action. Like that shit's crazy. I assume we're going there. I don't know if we'll spend a lot of time there, but I think we'll at least go there, get Thrawn, get Ezra, maybe spend like an episode or and a half, and then come back.
I would hope that we spend a decent amount of time in this other galaxy, and I hope it's not just some like, oh hey, there's another galaxy out there, but we're not gonna show it to you. We're just gonna mention it, and that's gonna be it.
What I would be down for is if they have plans to further the most current Star Wars stories, like meaning like the Rey stuff that they want to do eventually and like all that jazz, in terms of like chronologically, right? If they have plans to introduce this faraway galaxy as an antagonist of some sort in that story, I'm cool with it being peppered in here. Cause like I'm satisfied enough. I don't need a whole nother galaxy for this story to be cool. If that was just the unknown regions in this shit, and we still went out there maybe to like get him and come back, like cool. But that's just like a cherry on top.
Yeah. I just want to see it.
I think we will. I think we will.
That's what I want. Like I said, I just want to see it. I don't want it to be like, hey, there's this other new galaxy out here.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go to it.
Show it.
Yeah, we're not going to show you at all.
I think we'll have to see it at least because I doubt that they would not have some sort of perspective on either Thrawn or Ezra coming back. So we'll see one of them do the jump to space over there, or however it works. I don't even know. Who fucking knows? Like a brand new ground, brand new territory.
Gotta use the Force to go there.
I mean, that's the last time we saw something like this was in Rebels, because there's an episode where I'm gonna call him by his full name, Zeb, but Zeb, the big dude, his people are I think like almost extinct, and they haven't had like a homeworld in a long time. And he's pretty old. He's like ancient or whatever, from back when they were like thriving. And he was like a guard of like the main like kings and shit of his people. But they died, and so he was disgraced and stuff. And his little blaster turns into like a full on royal guard staff that like combines with these other like tools from his people or whatever. And he's able to chart a waypoint with the ghost ship through the unknown regions to find them a new world in uncharted space.
Interesting.
So within Rebels, we've touched something like this, but I think this is pushing that even further, which makes sense because it's Filoni again, right? Like it's.
Well, I think this is also him pulling from Legends and other things like that, because like in like the Thrawn trilogy and stuff like that, like his people use people that are Force sensitive to guide their ships through like hyperspace and shit like that.
Because it's so dangerous to, especially through the unknown regions, because it's not charted, right? Like,
and that's how like earliest people like charted the galaxies and stuff like that, was using through the Force, because you have to have these like precise calculations and know like Han Solo fucking describes all this shit, motherfucker. We gotta have all this shit, because if we don't know if we're gonna fucking materialize into a freaking star.
Yeah, you're gonna fucking end up with Bitsy and 7 different star systems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I like this like mystical aspect that Dave Filoni is weaving into like the live action.
Me too.
Because this is something that's been missing from live action for sure. That's again like making it feel fresh but familiar at the same time.
It introduces the like lore building of the for me, Clone Wars is like probably the best source of like the best single source of lore in all of Star Wars. Like all the other stuff is phenomenal, don't get me wrong. I love pretty much everything that comes from Star Wars. Yeah, please. But Clone Wars and Rebels in particular, because of the fact that they're just good old-fashioned weekly shows, like build out the universe so fucking much, and it's crazy to see that shit happening again. Like, I don't understand how this fucking guy does it, man. Dave Filoni's a G, bro.
He just fucking does it, man. That's the thing. He just fucking does it. He just wakes up and he does it.
Jon Favreau's helping too, right? On this one?
I think he's helping, but I'm pretty sure this is a Dave
It's
Filoni
mostly
baby.
him. I imagine it's his, but I think he's involved in some way. Maybe it's just producing. I can't remember. But yeah, the dude's doing it again, man. He's crazy.
Real quick before we move on to obviously the meaty and potatoes of this episode, who do you think this fucking Inquisitor is? Because the Inquisitors shouldn't even fucking be around. I see a lot of people thinking it's Ezra. I don't know if I fully subscribe to that.
Here's
I would hate to be this, like, not that the point of the show is the quest to find Ezra. Obviously, it is like, hey, let's prevent fucking Thrawn and shit like that, and we're finding Ezra along the way.
Yeah.
I would hate for it to be, but I think, like, part of the show is obviously, hey, we got to find Ezra. I would hate for that part of the show to be almost unimportant because, oh, Ezra's just right here, and he's this evil Inquisitor, you know? I think that would be interesting because in Rebels he does like dabble with the dark side and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't know if that's like fully satisfying.
On the Ezra thing, because my hope is that Ezra is, Ezra is like discombobulated in some way or another. Like, I think it would be a cool surprise if they roll up on Ezra and he's like, oh, hey, guys, how's it going? Yeah, I'm the same as I was fucking 20 years ago. But I imagine Ezra's a little fucked up. So I could see that being a route. Here's my hot take. I don't care. I don't give a shit who's underneath that mask. Unless it turns out to be Ezra, I don't see anybody it could be that would have any substantial impact on the story.
It's Cal Kestis.
That's also stupid. Like, given how gargantuan all the other players are at this table right now, you got fucking Ahsoka Tano, you got Sabine Wren, you got Harrison Dula, you got Chopper, you got Grand Admiral Thrawn. Who the fuck is this new dude gonna be? Unless it's Ezra, I don't see anybody else they could pull out of their ass. So otherwise, just let him be a fucking grunt for Sabine or Ahsoka to chop up later, and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one of those things where I am like, damn, who is this fucking guy? Because there are like certain shots in certain, especially in the second episode, the way I feel like they kind of talk about him sometimes. Like they mention him a couple times, but then especially like on the fight with Ahsoka, they make him seem like he is kind of somebody. Like with some of the shots that they take, you know, when they're close,
he takes out the frame,
and it's like, But again, I don't know if that's just them like playing with us and like, oh hey, this might be somebody, but no, that's not really somebody.
I too don't like 100% subscribe to the Ezra thing. I wouldn't like hate the show all of a sudden if that was the case. I think they could do that really well as long as they planned it out right. But again, like, unless it's him, I don't really see anybody that could be a substantial enough reveal for it to be impactful for general audiences.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other characters they could pull, like, I don't, like Diggs was saying the other day, like Barriss Offee or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that too, but that's too much of like a deep
Nobody's
cut.
gonna fucking know who that is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, for at most, the majority of viewers, right? So, like... yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Cut his head off, take his mask off, and have Ahsoka be like, "Oh, he was a fucking droid," or I don't know, he was this or that. It doesn't matter. I don't know.
A droid.
It's a fucking droid.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that they have an obvious Inquisitor in this when this is a time where the Inquisitors
disbanded.
Yeah, disbanded. But I mean, we do have fucking Baylan Skoll, who was a former Jedi, who we have in this, and the Jedi shouldn't be around. So. Who's to say that an Inquisitor can't still be around? But I don't know.
It could also too be like, do we see him? No, he does use the Force. Yeah, or they do use the Force. They haven't officially revealed.
Yeah, dude. Don't assume their pronouns.
I saved myself, dude. I saved myself. But yeah, no. There's never there is a display of the Force, or there's not.
Yeah, well, they throw the lightsaber,
and then it gets called back.
Yeah, and it gets called back. And that fucking scene when fucking Ahsoka's just like,
so cool.
Oh,
so clean.
I knew it was coming the whole time.
Oh, so clean. I was like,
this is the oldest trick in the book.
Oh, dude, that was sick. That was fucking. She made that look way too cool. I was like, Rosario Dawson, chill the fuck out. All right, you're badass. I get it.
Yeah.
It was almost like sassy. She was like, yeah, right, bitch. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, because Merrick does it in like a way where they seem like, oh yeah, I'm gonna catch this chick off guard. And
yeah.
Come on. I got trained by Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, dude.
You think I'm just gonna let this catch me
Yeah.
off guard?
No.
I fucking beat Darth Maul in a fight, motherfucker.
Seriously, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna
You're
fucking
not gonna
do?
do nothing.
I took down the fucking. I escaped the fucking 501st Legion
Seriously, yeah.
when the fucking Order 66 went
Yeah,
down.
You're not gonna take Ahsoka.
Come on now, brother. Come on now, brother.
The rumor that because before we transition, because I think we're getting around to that point. What are your hopes and dreams for the future of this show? At least in season 1.
Oh, hopes and dreams.
Like, what are your ideals going forward? What do you want to see?
I just want to see it continue to stay on par with these first couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of my gripes that if you guys have been listening to the podcast, with just like the Disney shows in general, is like the first few episodes are good and then they kind of fizzle out because I think they try to introduce a lot and then they try to rush through
the rest of it.
What we've introduced, Yeah. I don't think Dave Filoni is someone to do that. So I just hope that I just want to keep being mesmerized by the world of Star Wars that I didn't think I could keep being surprised and mesmerized by.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you've seen everything from Star Wars. Yeah,
and that's what this episode is, or these couple episodes have been like, hey, you don't know everything.
No,
and it's made me like a fucking kid again, like
giddy,
so excited.
Yeah.
So what are your hopes and dreams?
More or less the same. Like, I think my main hope above all is that like I want to see this show continue to be like a quality produced show all around. But the little kid in me can't help but think back to all of the like Anakin references and lines that are clearly Christian Haydenson that I've never heard before in Star Wars. So I am excited to see the connections that they do try to throw out there. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed that with like any big franchise product like this, you're probably not going to have something that's completely devoid of references to stuff. Even Andor has its shit here and there, right? So like, but for him being the main fucking character of like all of Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker is also one of like the least explored, I think, in terms of like his time in the prequels. There's a lot of time jumping during that time that we miss out on. So I think it would be cool to see some of those links get established. I heard, I don't know how the fuck this would happen. The only thing I can see is like some kind of forced vision. But I heard that a rumored sequence in the film, or in the show, I'm sorry, is supposed to be an alternate outcome to the duel on Mustafar. I don't know what they mean in that capacity. I don't know if that means Ahsoka shows up and they're able to bring Anakin back from the dark side and like a hopeful dream that she has, or maybe she has like a bad dream where she thinks Anakin killed Obi-Wan or something. I don't know. I don't even know if that's possible, but if you can do that, fucking please give me that shit. Yeah. I will take any excuse to go back to Mustafar.
Yeah, I think that would be great too, because there's a lot. I feel like there's always like a lot of the question of like, what would have happened if Ahsoka didn't like turn her back and go away from like the Jedi? You know, there's always that like, oh, she could have come back and probably saved him along with Obi-Wan because of how close her and Anakin. Yeah. You know, so.
And that's the question that what's so great is like that's the question that we ask as audiences, and that's also the question of the character Ahsoka asks herself is like, fuck, could I have saved him if I was there?
And I think that's more of like Dave Filoni being the right person. If that outcome happens, right? Say that happens. I think that is, you know, the outcome of, you know, Dave Filoni being the right person to be in, you know, the driver's seat for this show. Because he's someone that for sure has his, you know, his finger on the pulse, you know, and stuff like that.
He's got his T's crossed and his I's dotted.
He's got his ear to the fucking streets, and he knows what people want. You know, he knows what, you know, fan theories and blah 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 and stuff like that.
Well, you know what I think is best about Dave Filoni is that like better than any other person who's tried to take on creative work in the Star Wars, and 1,000 times better than any fucking fan. Because as much as I love all of us, we don't know how to fucking make movies, okay? I heard this great quote from Bill Hader, which was that if you ask for feedback from somebody and they tell you, I don't think that's working, they're 100% right. But the second they start to pitch something else to you, they're 100% wrong. Because what the fuck do they know about making that shit? They're going to make it very biased and personal towards themselves. So, as much as I love us as a community, we don't know how to make good Star Wars content. It's probably going to be super cheesy and corny as fuck and not satisfying. But Dave Filoni knows what the fuck George Lucas was trying to do with classic Star Wars more than anybody else. And so, like, he's just the perfect person to pass the reins on to.
Exactly. I think that's the best thing about the show is it just feels like classic Star Wars.
Feels like Star Wars, dude.
You know?
Yeah. No two ways about it.
Feels like classic Star Wars, and I'm glad to get back into it. So go ahead and go and watch those first 2 episodes of Ahsoka and let us know in the comments, what did you think? Did you agree with what we said? Did you disagree with what we said?
Ahsoka fucking sucks.
Yeah, if you think it sucked, let us know why. I think we would be interested to understand why. Because I think there is a big community. Like, I've gone on YouTube and I've done, watched my videos and just trying to see what other people are thinking about the show. And there is, like, not a large part of the community, but there is some parts of the community that, like, maybe aren't the most happy about the show because of the way, Ahsoka is. And there being these big questions about, like, the relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine when that's not something that was, like, really explored in Rebels at all,
Definitely not, yeah.
And, all of a sudden Sabine, gonna be a Jedi when she showed no Force, like, sensitivity, like, pretty much, like, at all, like, in Rebels,
I do like, though, that they reference that, right? They're not just trying to be like, yeah, Sabine's super fucking cool all of a sudden. Yeah. I mean, she is super fucking cool.
She kind of has the Force, but, like, not really, but she kind of does.
Yeah, she is cool, but I do like that, and I hope they stick with it. I don't want to see Sabine become, like, intensely Force sensitive over the course of the show.
You're the most powerful Jedi that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Make it cooler and make it that she's not that strong and she uses her fucking Mandalorian mind to still kick the shit out of these motherfuckers. She's not as strong as them with the Force, but she got a lightsaber, she got her flamethrower, and she can fuck you up, dog.
She's a Mandalorian.
She's a fucking Mandalorian, bro.
Jedi.
She got a lightsaber. Like, come on, be careful.
Go and watch that shit, and we'll return next week with, our thoughts on episode 3.
Yep.
Did the episode 3 live up to episode 2? I'm a little scared because episode 3 is a lot shorter than the other episodes.
That's
and you
okay
know
with
me, I'm a longer episode type of guy.
I will say, for me personally, Star Wars Disney shows in particular have a good track record of making the most out of shorter episodes.
Yes.
Of all of the shorter episodes I've seen of Star Wars, they're all usually pretty good.
I agree. I will say, I think we are dealing with something that is, like, on a grander scale than I think the rest of the shows have done. So I don't know, like, we're dealing with these really big concepts, like, that are being introduced to us now, like different galaxy,
definitely.
We're probably gonna get into, like, the world between worlds type of shit.
I hope so, because it's been left alone for, like, the last fucking 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. So hopefully they just devote the correct amount of time to each subject.
I think at the very least we get 2 seasons of this show.
Yeah.
So I think they have plenty of time to build all the world that they want, but, like, I don't think this is going to be a one and done. I have a feeling season 1 will be some kind of a cliffhanger, and then you'll want to come back for season 2.
Hell yeah. Just like you guys like coming back to the show. I hope you guys like coming back to the show.
We like coming back to the show.
We do like coming back to the show because, you know what? We get to talk about things like we're going to talk about next that we both fucking really fucking enjoy.